right. Good evening. It is Monday, February 10th, 7 p.m. I'd like to call to order the business meeting of the Select Board in Sunderland, Vermont. First order of business is to introduce our board members. We have Todd Lawrence, my far left, Marty Nadler to my immediate left, Bruce Madison to my right, and Andrew McKeever on the keyboard, keeping us all informed. I'm Dixie Zenz, the board chair. Need to approve the minutes of our January 27th meeting. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Any changes, adjustments, corrections? They look good to me. All in favor of accepting the minutes as written, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Minutes are accepted. Thank you. We open up to public comment. Would anyone like to make any comments? You're certainly able to. Anybody online that we know of? I don't hear anybody calling in. Okay. Road liaison, Bruce, would you like to give us a little update?
I don't really have much. You know, they've been keeping the vehicles running and trying to keep up with the roads. They've had a few breakdowns and having a little rough time with equipment.
All right. With that, we do have the excess weight permits that we need to have Bruce sign. We need a motion that Bruce will sign these. There's two in here. Do I have a motion for Bruce to sign the excess weight permit?
I move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor of Bruce signing these, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Bruce. All right. Emergency management.
Not too much on my end right now. I have tomorrow's our quarterly regional emergency management committee meeting. It's gonna be Zoom. Usually it's bounced around the county. Tomorrow, because it's wintertime, it'll be on Zoom. Hopefully we have a quorum so we can elect officers and submit our bylaws and all that. But other than that, not too much. I'm still going through that one wildfire grant, reading through it that I mentioned, I think, last meeting. I talked to Dara with BCRC. Shaftesbury was kind of looking into it. However, I think there is some financial stuff that would be involved, so it wouldn't be like 100% grant. So I don't know if that's something later on we would want to look into or not. But yeah, other than that, not much right now.
Okay, great. Marty, special projects.
Yeah, I had a question. Did you want me to contact the fire chief to decide on, to get more information on the standpipes?
Yes,
please. You know, our share?
Yes, please.
Okay, I will do that.
And any updates on special projects at the moment?
No updates now.
So under old business, we have our Energy Committee, and we'd like to discuss the MERP grants. We have Jeff Dexter here, our chairman, and if you'd like to give us a little update on where we are.
Okay, well, for everyone that does know, I don't want to repeat myself, I'm going to say we've got some sizable money, you got grant from the state Municipal Energy Resilience Program, MRP, for municipal buildings, our town hall and our garage to be even more energy efficient. $206,000 we've been approved for solar on both roofs, heat pumps, a heat pump in here, in this meeting room, and then also down at the town garage. Envelope seal-up insulation, as they call it. A couple of EV chargers, level 1, but they're still not too bad to start with anyway. And all of that's starting to take shape. 8 other towns in the county got grants, something like 130, 140 towns across the state got some of this money. So the ones here in Bennington, because everyone's going to be going after the same contractors, we wanted to get moving quickly. As you remember, the last time I was here a month or so ago, where we had a meeting and a decision was made that we would allow some money for soft costs, which are engineering type fees, inflation, if this takes a while and things inflate. We discussed this at our last meeting, and it was decided that the companies that we get bids from, and we'll go through the normal town bidding process, that they'll tell us pretty much, you know, what we can and can't do with the building. Be it insulation of the garage, and it's too old for this or that, they'll be telling us that, solar, whatever. So we probably save ourselves about $19,000 of that $206,000 just by doing this, you know, without it. They give it to towns that may not have the ability to do this on their own. I think Callie Fishburne from BCRC told us that there are a couple towns that are going to need to use that money to have like a project manager paid for to coordinate everything. We feel that our committee could pretty much do that. We've got 4 new members on the committee, by the way: Colleen and Scott York, Liz Miller, and Lisa Maggio. So they're all eager to do some work themselves. 2 years ago, we got estimates for heat pumps, thinking we might get some grant money from another source. So we have heat pump and solar estimates, so we'll go after those companies to see if they're still interested, if they're still in business. I know Grassroots Solar merged with another company, so we'll go after them. Dixie, you've got some solar things going on, right? Some companies.
Yeah, we do.
That are going to be coming around giving us.
They're gonna, right, one was supposed to come today, but they, that was Power Guru, and they had car issues and weren't able to make it, but they're rescheduling for next Monday.
Okay, yeah, so we want to move as quickly as possible. Again, there's only so many contractors that can do this, and if 8 other towns are getting similar work done, they're all going to be looking to do this as quickly as possible. So, you know, there has been some talk, as we all know, in Washington about pulling money back. We don't know if that's going to happen. We haven't had anyone through BCRC tell us, yeah, that's a strong possibility. It's more of probably not, but don't quote me type of thing. It could happen. So again, another reason to get moving forward quickly on it. Let's see, we do have some leeway on the size of say, the solar panels that are going up. Dixie and I talked a little bit about that. They were recommending, they being the energy assessment that was done, it's like an energy audit. You know, small systems, 4.0, 4.5, I think for the garage, 4.0 here, kilowatts, so they're kind of small. We thought if we could get larger, because we just saved about $19,000 on the engineering side of it, and again, that was factored into the 206, the total number we got, so it doesn't look like we're going to have any problem money-wise, but you know, we're thinking if we can get the solar going as soon as possible. So, were there other companies that you're?
There's Power Guru, there's Grassroots, which is, I think it's Green Mountain
Right.
Solar now, and Same Sun. So there's 3 companies that are looking at it right now.
Heat pump, we had Hayden Plumbing bid last time. A gentleman named Tim Hart, who's out of, I think, Paulette, and works for GMP, but on the side puts in heat pumps. He did my house, he did a few other people that we knew that, and so we had him give us an estimate. He'll be doing it again. So that's pretty much where we are right now with the MERP grant, the big one. Any questions? Or?
Have you looked into the grant purchasing requirements?
Yeah, I think we looked as a committee, looked into it, and
You got the whole thing here?
yeah, we got it from Susan, gave us the website, and we looked it over. Is there anything in specific?
I haven't looked at it yet.
Okay, yeah.
I know that we talked about how she didn't want to actually have to deal with it,
Right,
paperwork, because she has a lot going on.
right,
And
right.
that's why we were going to have, was it BCRC do it?
Yeah, they're gonna help, and Callie's been, very good about this. She helped with a lot of different applications and things, so,
And the EV chargers, what do you mean, a couple? We decided we weren't going to have one down at the garage.
okay. You don't have to, yeah, they said the money's there if you want it, but, okay. And the one here, right, you're still gonna go ahead with that?
I guess, yeah.
Okay.
I would discuss.
Yeah, it's not just for town residents, if any of the employees ever,
Yeah.
you put it in there for 8 hours, you get a decent charge.
Do you know why they didn't go with level 2? Or what, who said level 1 only? Because
It's
I
a
mean-
good point, it's something I can check into, but.
we should check into that,
As far as
because
I knew, that's what, I don't know if everyone got that, but a couple of them in Bennington County also got level 1s.
isn't level 1 like 110?
Yeah.
It's a
And
little bit better maybe than that, but yeah,
It's only
I think
110
they-
volt.
It's like an
input.
8-hour charge, right?
8 hours, you might get maybe 15 miles, so enough to, if you grocery and go home or something. It's not that much. I think they look at it as a start
Well-
maybe, and I don't know if you add on to that or how that would work, but if we could get a level 2 tier, is that what you were saying?
I think we should look into that, because, I mean, level 1, I don't think anyone's gonna visit here for that long, other than
I don't think so.
employees,
Right, right.
you know,
If they've got some work here, it's gonna take a while.
right.
Yeah, I'll check on that, and again, financially with the grant, the money's there, so we,
Right.
So instead of putting two, you put one better one in.
yeah, it's a good idea.
And the solar panels, they don't have any battery backup, they go straight into the grid?
Right, at this point, yeah, we've got the generator, I guess, so that would be some sort of a backup for, emergency use, but batteries weren't specifically.
They were mentioned, but they weren't in
They were
the,
mentioned in the audit. Yeah, I'm not sure how much leeway we have in changing, or in asking for something that wasn't approved, but, it'd be up to the board, the select board to say, yeah, we'd like to get a Tesla battery or whatever battery's out there.
I was just wondering, this building here obviously is in the sun more, and I don't know how much the hill or the trees block the garage.
Right.
And I don't know if it'll actually run the stuff in the garage, the compressor, and so maybe
it's really more to offset, like the power goes back into the grid, and you get credit for the power that you create.
Right.
And so that offsets your electric bill, so it's not a direct, you're not running the building off of the solar, you're still running off the grid, but you're supplying the grid, which gives you credit, so it's offsetting the amount of money that the town has to pay.
Which is a big issue now, I don't know if you've heard about it, they're trying, for the 7th year in a row, reducing the rate that you get for that excess power that you
Right.
send back to the grid. There's a big Zoom meeting just got off about a half hour ago about that, that it's already in place pretty much, there's nothing we can do. Every 2 years, a Public Utility Commission, PUC, I think it is, reviews, and for all 7 years of the last 7 years, they've said, we're gonna reduce that amount. So they're thinking that, and that's for people that have had solar, and they're gonna get less of a rate. And for the new one, the new people that are saying, well, how long is this gonna pay, how long is it gonna take to pay me back? It's going down and down now, so they're thinking that Scott is trying to kill the solar industry, is what this guy in the Zoom said today, so something to consider. I mean, when they made the recommendations here and said how long of a payback and the savings, they were using the 2023 rate, which is going down as of August of this year, so, not a lot, I mean, it's like a penny, it's not going up. 7 years ago, they actually gave you 6 cents more than what the retail rate was, so it was a good deal, good payback pretty quick.
And I thought that was grandfathered in if you had that rate. I don't think they're reducing the rate.
Yeah, that was one of the questions today, and the guy said that when you get solar and you sign your agreement with your utility GMP, that nothing in that agreement says that it can't go up, go down, or stay the same, so it can move.
Okay,
He was pretty strongly saying this isn't GMP doing this. It's not like, oh, they're,
Yeah.
bottom line, more money. It's the PUC. They said they get their marching orders from Governor Scott, this is what he was saying. So,
A
And-
couple more quick.
excuse
go
me.
ahead.
So putting them on the roof, does it create an issue down the road, or would it be better to put like pedestals or out back here?
Yeah, good point. I mean, pedestals, I think, are the way to go, but I don't think we had enough money for that, or it wasn't recommended in the energy audit. That's pretty much what they did. We didn't really have a say in it. The audit came out last fall, said we recommend these number of panels, this solar system size. It didn't say, maybe you can get, an array out in your yard or whatever.
That- All right, so on the insulation part, what's going to, for the town garage, what's gonna happen there? Is somebody gonna move all the stuff and deal with it? And what if they have,
We'll have to get the contractor to bid on it and work with Mark to, what will be needed, how much room are they gonna need, how much time and all that. If it's obviously not in the wintertime, probably doing that, they won't have to have all their vehicles, inside.
just a lot of things that
Yeah.
I think need to be answered.
Worked out, yes.
Rushing something, doing it right the first time's the right way.
Well, as I said, unless the select board felt that we do want a project manager, the committee was saying we think we could do it, but if you guys say spend the 19, because they did get 2 estimates, and it was 15 to 19,000 plus to be a project manager, engineering firms. One was called Centerline, the other one was PRW or something, but they're relatively local engineering firms that are gonna be doing this for a couple other towns. They draw plans, they do all sorts of stuff, but we thought, let's see if the people that give us the estimate, if they can tell us that.
Because the energy audit specified pretty much what
We thought they
could be done, what should be done, so we have a menu basically for folks to quote,
Yeah,
adding insulation and fixing the roof and whatever.
yeah, that's the priority, by the way. I checked with Kelly today about what is the pecking order, and she said is a specific that the envelope seal up and insulation is the #1 priority, and we have to go by what BGS, Building and Grounds, whatever services, that they tell us. Solar, by the way, is the bottom, the 5th. So that one would be probably the first. I just found that out
Okay.
today.
You had a question?
Oh, yeah, I was just thinking if the rates for getting the energy you create by solar are going down, that's actually an argument to look into batteries, right?
Yeah,
To see if
to store the
Yeah.
power and,
there
yeah.
are any grants or
Yeah,
something. for
yeah, I put that
batteries.
down if we can, I don't know if you guys saw any batteries from any of the other towns, I don't know.
I think they pulled, I think back in October, when we talked about this, I think they were pulling batteries from the grant
Oh,
because
they
of
were?
cost or something. I think that was part of the discussion back in October.
Oh, okay. Well, that's one
something
thing.
like that.
I'll definitely check on that. I'll check on the EV charger, if we could get a level 2, at least for here. But yeah, I agree, Bruce. You don't wanna go too fast, but you wanna at least get your stuff going.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sit here. If you guys think,
I just think that, instead of putting two solar things on two buildings, maybe one properly done with a battery backup would be better for the town than having two that don't really, and how long is before they actually, I don't know how much they're going to put back into the,
Same Sun, speaking of that, Same Sun Solar talked to me and said they agree with you. They think putting one system on this building and not do the town garage would be cost-effective in that it's one installation. But the downside is that if you, putting the usage, if you have solar on this building, the usage of this building has a higher rate of return than if you are creating excess to cover what the town garage would have. So if the town garage had a system and this building had a system, but we're talking a few cents per kilowatt hour, not like 20 cents per kilowatt hour or something to difference. But Same Sun thought one system on this building, like instead of, they were recommending 10 kilowatt systems. And I think some of the other folks were quoting 10 kilowatt to 9.4 or whatever. And that would cover the electric bills for here as an average. I mean, wintertime, you don't get enough gain to pay completely for electricity, but the excess would go in, you would get credit for that, and that would reduce the electric bill in the wintertime, the excess in the summer that you're building up, so.
So Jeff, since we're considering asking for a modification on the grant for going from level 1 to level 2, if we ask for a modification to go to a pedestal array, we can actually put a bigger array down than we can, whatever's going to be mounted on the roof. Once we get off the roof, the array can be bigger, and, we would generate more solar electricity, and we'd get a greater payback. Plus, those arrays, they can tilt and move, to follow the sun. So I'm just wondering if, if it'd be possible to look at, a pedestal-based array.
I think the ones that follow the sun are quite a bit more expensive than just panels on
and I
a
think
roof.
pedestals are more than rooftop too. But-
Definitely.
But again, if it's the right way to go. Okay, so I've got a bunch of questions I can ask them, or Callie, and she'll check with BGS.
Hey, Dixie, if I can just
Sure.
chime in. Going back to October, I do appreciate the Energy Committee going through all this and the enthusiasm and dedication, but I do have concerns though with going without the project manager. I just think there's a lot of money and there's a lot of specifics in the grant that, we're already discussing solar panels when we've just said it's at the very bottom of the spending priority. So I'm concerned with going against kind of what we discussed in October with the project managers and now gonna self-manage. I'm just concerned of us staying within the requirements of the grant and keeping the project kind of focused in the right direction. Because there's gonna be a lot of stuff, there's gonna be a lot of projects, there's a lot of quotes, there's gonna be a lot of paperwork, and we're gonna be relying on volunteers really, right? To keep all that intact so the town doesn't get in trouble with the state and all the entities involved. So that's my concern is is kind of what, what we talked about in October was to get the project manager, and we were gonna push for that money to come out of the soft costs of the grant to fund that. And we're kind of just decided to diverge from that plan and self-manage.
Yeah, I may have misspoke, it was the committee's recommendation, but yeah, you guys have the final say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't recommend.
Right, so if you wanna get the project, now, there's two, and there's like 6 of them that have signed up with them, I think, these 2 companies, so, you'd have to make a decision pretty quickly, to say yes, because I think Callie said, I can't remember what date she gave us, but, I think it might be the end of this month.
Yeah. And I don't doubt that you guys could probably do it, that's a lot to put on a group of volunteers and a lot of liability in the big picture of the town, I think.
Yeah, we may have been looking more at the solar, thinking, well, that's not that hard, which
Yeah.
isn't, and you're right, that's number 5. The big one is gonna be the insulation, the ceiling, and yeah, that's out of my work.
Yeah, and with the managers and the consultants and stuff, you're paying also for like the what if. Like what if there's something wrong with the garage, what if there's something, and then you have to pivot and you have all the timelines and the funding restraints and stuff. So that's just my concern is I just want to make sure the town is squared away with everything so that way we can accomplish as much as we can with the funds that we have, because like I mentioned before, I'm not against the projects as a whole. It's just I just want to make sure we're doing this stuff the right way.
Wouldn't the contractor be the one who would be the project
That's
manager
what we
in
thought.
effect?
Excuse me,
But wouldn't the contractor be the project, in effect, the project manager? I mean,
well, it'd be plural, contractors. Yeah, we thought maybe, they would be the ones to tell us. For solar, probably they would be, but for the others, the insulation thing, the other side of that too is they all say, oh yeah, it can be done, and then maybe it couldn't.
Yeah.
Because, they want to sell you something.
But the contractor's not gonna be looking over the grant and any reporting and any of the
They're just gonna
paperwork.
install it, right?
Yeah, they're just here to install and, they might have some knowledge of it based on other towns, but I just wanna make sure everyone's set up for success,
Right, no, I agree, you do it right the first time. So, again, it'll be up to you guys, I don't know if you wanna make a decision on it, but,
Well, we did agree at one point, and it was kind of my thought, when I did my solar, they came in, they looked at the roof and said, yeah, this can handle it. And, I felt that contractors generally can look at these things and kind of manage them themselves, but you're right about the paperwork. Will they look at the grant,
There's like 7 pages, a lot on here.
But these local means they're, like, from Burlington, wasn't one from Burlington?
yeah,
The,
I think one actually has an office in Bennington, but, their main offices weren't anywhere in the
Yeah.
area, but they had like a satellite office. And again, there were only 2 companies that Callie could get that said, we can do what you want us to do for the amount of money you want to give us.
Yep.
One of them actually said that they charge extra if you ask them to come to a meeting, which I thought was a little, that's
Right.
part of what you do, but it wasn't a little bit extra, it was like $500 an hour or something crazy.
Yeah.
So again, and with only 2 to choose from, I guess I'd go back to Callie and ask her, maybe which one of these firms does she think is best.
Are the other towns, the 8 towns in Bennington County, you said there's a mixture, some are doing it by themselves, some are doing it?
Yeah, I think it's half and half. They haven't made their decision because it's the end of February.
Yeah.
So, some are probably going through the same thing. Well, can't we do that ourselves?
Yeah.
I can't remember which ones she said were doing it. Manchester and Bennington?
I think she said Manchester was.
Okay, Maybe Bennington wasn't because they had a big staff.
You have the staff to do it,
Yeah.
yeah.
and it's,
Engineering departments, public works,
right.
all that
I know
stuff.
she said Stamford and maybe Pownell were doing it, because
Yeah.
I got less than us. So, I'll leave it up to you guys if you want to discuss it tonight or the next meeting, but, I'll get some answers. I wish I could
Well-
say here's who the committee recommends, because we sort of didn't look at that.
Once right would be good.
Excuse me?
One time right would be
Yeah,
good.
yeah, no,
So, is a consensus of the board that we should have consultants?
How much paperwork are we talking about? Do we know?
It's
I don't
following,
know
it's,
specific about paperwork, I think more it's the big concept of does everything fit into place? You've got the biggest expense is the thermal envelope improvements of the garage, $67,000. That heat pump, again, that has to sort of, I would imagine, fit in with what's going on insulation-wise. How big you want a unit if you've now got much better insulation down there, so.
but all those things are possible to get from the suppliers. They know
If they
the
are-
volume of this room, they know, it's winter, they can say it's, yes, well insulated, or it's not, or whatever. And, but I don't know if the consultants are gonna say, you need X amount of BTUs for this room. Are they gonna do that and then tell
It sounded
the,
like they were. It was pretty extensive what they were going to do, both of them. Good long list. As I said, they had their base fee, which was anywhere, I think, it was hard to understand because there's a lot of add-ons, almost like à la carte, where you add this and that. But I guesstimated around anywhere from 13,000 up to about 19. And as I said, median is even more, but the money is there, but then the money's there for this, a 4 kilowatt solar, so I don't know, you know what I'm saying? If we decide now you want a 10, well, that doubles the price for now, but now we're almost on budget because we don't have the 19. I'm not advocating one way or the other, I'm just throwing things out to consider.
Jeff, do you know if, you said that some of the consultants are requiring additional funds to show up at a meeting. Is there some schedule for on-site visitations? Do they charge you extra for on-site
No,
visitations?
that's part of it, they'll do that.
Once, twice, 3 times? Does it matter?
Yeah, as many as it takes for them.
As
to
many as
tour
it
the
takes.
property.
but if you ask them to come to a board meeting.
Right, they'll charge you for that,
That's
right, because
right.
it's a nighttime or something
And
like
there'll
that.
be a project manager, almost like when you see the trailer that goes on site, and that guy's out there looking almost every day. I never do every day, but supposedly, I don't know if it's weekly, I can check on that too, but, just to make sure. And again, it's not huge, just, there's the envelope seal up, the heat pump, and the solar, that's pretty much it. So it's not like they're building a new building, but you do need an on-site manager, but, so, yeah, I'll ask all these other questions. One that I came up with was liability of the engineering firm. If they make a mistake, I want to check into that. I don't think I saw anything about that in
I think that's why they have insurance, right?
yeah, right, but make sure that they're reputable and obviously, how much insurance do they have if they've made a mistake? So we're not on the hook.
We used, at the airports, we used project managers for, if we didn't have people in-house, we had project managers, and they were the ones that made sure all the paperwork, made sure all the finances, all the contractors, the subcontractors, all were in sync, all talked, all the deadlines, all the requirements were met. So, it is pricey, but I guess that's part of getting a grant of $200 and some thousand. You pay 9% or 8% in contractor fees or project management fees to make sure everything,
Right.
and then that way too, it's, as long as, if they're taking the liability of all the documents are with the state, everything's checked, then that, any pushback from the state on what we've done with purchasing, who we've gone through the bid process, at least now you could say, well, we have a project manager, they're the ones that are supposed to do all that. So I don't know, but that's just my concern.
The project manager would assume the liability for filing all the paperwork and making sure it's correct and, you know, and assume responsibility for any errors?
Yeah, that's part of it.
I understand you guys doing it, you'd save some money, but then again, by having somebody professional do it, it's done right. And there's nothing missed, and so,
But the issue is going to be that if we go with a project manager, then that potentially slows down the pace at which the project will get done. To find
Yeah, a
a
little
project
bit.
manager, because there aren't many project managers.
They're already saying that they would start in the summer. I mean,
In
their
addition to the fact
schedule.
Save approximately, I think, $19,000. That could be potentially used to pay for cost overruns or unexpected expenses.
Right,
So
yeah.
a bit less.
Yeah, I think the thought might have been a little bit of, let's see what the contractors tell us, but I guess then the issue becomes being custom. You know, and I think most of them probably can, but for, you know, an investment of $206,000, you do want to get it right, and you know, this is new. It sounds like I can ask Callie, okay, so how's it been in the past for this type of project anyway? I don't know if there's others that she's worked on, because we rely on her to give us some guidance, you know, what's the way to go.
I'd be surprised if we did the proper vetting of the contractor who submits a bid, that we wouldn't have a sense as to whether or not there have been problems in the past. I mean, having just had a heat pump installed in my house, and the plumber that we used, a local plumber, guy was great. He knew just what he was doing. Bang, 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 it went in. It's worked fine for, you know, ever since it's been installed. So, I mean, assuming we're not using, you know, fly-by-night whomever, I would think that the plumber should be, or whoever the installer would be on the work, would kind of know, or we should be able to find out if there's been any issues in past jobs, I would think.
Right. Yeah, well,
Yeah, I think the biggest issue is really the town garage, the insulation, and
right. that's-
does the roof, is it capable of, you know, the upgrades that it's needed, and does that roof have to be replaced, or things like that? That would be probably the biggest risk. Certainly the heat pump and the solar, to me, would be, I mean,
is there
those companies do that all the time, and they would not put solar panels on this roof if they felt, or if they deemed it not safe or reasonable to do that. And, but the big risk, and I think that's something that the town garage, which is the biggest portion of the funds, is for insulating and improving the efficiency of the town garage, not just the solar panels and not just the heat pump, but the insulation and roof and the walls, you know, they're like two separate items on that. And so if the board feels that that we should have a consultant to cover ourselves and make sure that everything is going to be done properly, we do have the bids for those, and that we can go that way. We were gonna, my thought was, if we get somebody to come and take a look with the specs for redoing the town garage, insulation and everything, you could get a feel for how, you know, how trustworthy, I guess, they would seem, and how thorough they would quote and understand what needed to be done, but.
Yeah, it's like, what came first? Do we have a consultant tell us that, or do we try it ourselves first? In terms of getting, you know, the opinion of the contractor.
Well, it sounds like, yeah, it sounds like having a consultant, as Bruce said, you know, will they do it right? If they don't, it's their liability, and you know, you're not gonna know whether it's right or not until you see the energy you're saving, you know, so.
So I don't know how long the garage has been down there, but,
We found out.
73.
1973.
so I don't know if there's actually any life, a certain time the garage is actually, before it actually needs to be
Rebuilt.
yeah,
Yeah,
or any of that.
right.
Yeah, you don't know if there's a lot of mold, you don't know anything what's going on.
Church is still standing.
You know, that was,
You know, one of the proposals for the special projects fund is still is, you know, to either replace or expand the garage. You know, I'm wondering, do we want to put $70,000 in a building that we might want to spend money to replace rather than repair? You know,
No, it's a
I mean, we
consideration.
haven't made that decision, and it's a big decision, and, you know, for the town to make that decision.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is one of the items that we have discussed, you know, and it seems to be support for, at least some, you know, some support. So I'm wondering, you know, does that enter into the decision?
it might, because the town wants the equipment, their biggest investment covered, and right now, there's a lot of it outdoors. So,
I mean, it doesn't make
But
sense.
this grant, I mean, we can send it back, I mean, and just say we don't really, we decided not to spend the money on the garage, so
Well-
that can't be applied to a new building.
Well, can it, I mean, can we use that grant to put insulation and, you know, and weatherproofing on a new building that we're building? Or does it have to be on the existing building?
Yeah, it's the existing, and it has to be spent by, I mean, you're probably talking 10 years, maybe before there's a new town garage, but, you know, I'm not gonna have town hall, you know, but, yeah, it's specifically for energy efficiency of, I guess I can't say for sure of existing buildings, but I'm 99% sure that's what it is.
Okay.
I've not heard anyone say, oh, good, there's our money. You know, it's
Yeah,
what you
all
got
right.
here now. Admittedly, with the garage, it's maybe a Band-Aid even, but it's at least, you know, it's plugging it up a little bit where we're losing, I mean, you should, you
And it
guys
will
see the
Save the,
main costs, you know, and there's other reasons too.
and it will save the town money, some money, you know, how much, you know, well, we'd have to see, but,
Like I said, 60% of the towns in Vermont got the money and they're spending it now,
Mhm.
so there's probably others that are saying, hey, our garage, I mean, Arlington's doing their garage, I think Shaftesbury too.
yeah, they-
They've got great
No, I'm not
shape.
saying we shouldn't, I was just, you know, just curious,
Yeah, no, I
because
think
it's, a you know,
pretty
it's a,
sure
it's a question that we have, because we, you know, we're considering allocating all that money.
you know, yeah.
I mean, wouldn't it cost high number of six figures to build a new garage or replace the one? I mean, it's a lot of.
Well, it depends on,
construction costs are
on what
pretty
you do. I mean, you could put up a
high.
prefab.
Likelihood of replacing a garage, it's okay, it's 50 years old, but it would seem to me that in the near future, that's extremely unlikely that the town is going to vote to, you know, spend the kind of money that would be needed to replace a town garage.
Well, that's what the special projects, that was one of the
Then-
reasons.
Then you'd have that money for special projects or something else. Just saying.
I'm not saying we shouldn't do it, I just asked the question.
mhm. But I think this grant was specified to improve town hall and the town garage, and, you know, ideally, it would be nice to build a new garage, but we also need to consider the location if we
Yeah.
add a new garage, because is that enough space where it is? And,
Mhm.
you know, it's,
Yeah, I mean, the issue is not, you know, the garage, the issue is that we're trying to protect our heavy equipment.
mhm.
And apparently, this garage is not sufficient in size to do that.
Even an addition wouldn't do it, and there's a lot of water goes in because of the way it's at, because it kind of slopes down. But it's been there a long time, and I was just more curious if there's a life of a metal building where you actually have to start thinking about it.
They talked in the energy audits, did they mention the lifespans of the building, or was that more of the appliances within the building?
Yeah, it's.
Like the
more
heater
that-
and the pump and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
that's
they
what I'm-
were
yeah.
The individual items,
Okay.
or replacing the infrared heating or
Yeah.
whatever, but not about, because again, I think everyone knows town garages
Yeah.
notoriously, I think Charlotte built one, or somebody built one, I saw in the paper, and it was 3 million for 9,000.
Be a lot of, yeah.
Yeah, they're up there, a lot more than 6 figures,
I think Shasberry just built one a few years ago, it was like 600.
600,000, yeah, wow. Pay for it, but, I don't know.
Pretty big.
Again, that's a big issue for another day.
Yeah.
But this money's here, we got it. We continue to, on the hope that there's a new town garage, and that's underlying the word hope, I think, but.
So I would like to have a vote on, or a discussion and agreement on, should we move forward with the consultant and, because we need to get with Callie and get moving on that, because I think I'd like to save the town money and upgrading that as soon as we can. And it's gonna be this summer if we,
Well,
Start
summer
now.
for the engineer to get going.
right.
That's why we thought we'd shave 6 months off of that, but, I mean, if we wanna, it's up to you guys, yeah.
So,
Well, I'll propose a motion that we go forward with the consultant. I just feel like, it's important we get this thing moving in some way or another. And if it's the feeling of the majority of the board that it's a safer approach to do it with a consultant that's gonna, make sure that all the paperwork's filed correctly, et cetera, then I can live with that. I also would like to think that, it would be great to kind of get this thing rolling, sooner than later. But if it makes everyone feel better to have a consultant, then I'm certainly I can be supportive of that. So I'll make the motion to go forward with the consultant.
I'll second that.
all right. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so if you can get with Callie and see if we can move forward on the consultant, that would be great.
Okay, and some of the specific questions I'll get answered
Okay?
that we talked about. The last thing I had was just we did have to go through a form because it missed it by 2 years, the building. It would be considered historic, if you can call that historic. Anything,
50 years, right?
well, 1975, right. So, and it was built in 73, that's the best we got on the property record card.
Yep.
It said 1973, because, boy, I must have asked everyone I found, when was that built? Geez, I don't know. But anyway, so that was about a 15-page, the state regs, but we got it in there, and then Callie said, we're not gonna have any problem with them saying, no, you can't alter a historic building.
Yeah,
Not that.
great. Well, I appreciate all your efforts there, Jeff. That's
Thank
good.
you, and thank the board for a good discussion. So, I'll get you some more answers, and I just have a quick question. Is it better to, if I can come, I obviously will, but is there an email if I send it to, does it go to all you guys, or
If you send it to select board,
select board at sunderlandvermont.org?
yes.
Okay. Okay. If you want, I can do that.
Yeah,
because I'll
no,
have
it-
all these questions.
Then we can discuss anything and vote on anything at a meeting.
Okay. Yeah, I'll help you have that ready for you so you can talk about it.
Can I just ask a question for
Sure.
the minutes? I have motion to move forward with hiring project manager consultant to administer MERP grant projects. Is that good wording?
That's good.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anything else under old business? Under new business, we have the grant application, another grant application for updating the town master plan. Planning board has gathered together and approved that we apply for this grant to help pay for the update of our town plan. And we would need a motion that we approve that we are going to apply for the grant for municipal planning. This is a resolution that needs to be signed saying, yes, we, as the select board, agree that we should apply for this grant to update our plan.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, so basically, the planning board has looked at this, approved it, said, yep, we would like to go that, we need to update our town plan, so.
Do they have a plan? Like a draft or?
We have
what's their
the original town plan, but it needs to be updated. And that's what this grant allows us to do. So we have the latest town plan. I don't know what the date of that last town plan that had been approved, but this is to update.
Quite a few years ago, actually.
Yeah, probably,
2018 or something?
I think it was 18.
Yeah.
So, is there any other discussion on whether we should apply for this grant to update the Sunderland town plan?
I'm just looking at that grant application though. We're not discussing like the details that they've put into the grant. We're just accepting them to move forward with it. Is that my just understanding?
It's just to apply for the grant.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
to
I'm just
apply,
making
yeah,
sure,
yeah.
because,
Yeah.
I mean, their discussion of what their visioning of the town and stuff is in the grant application. So I don't know are we approving their visioning of the town without a further discussion, or like, a bigger discussion, or is it just?
So, this email from Rob Zeef, the chairman of the Planning Commission, says the attached application for a grant is to undertake our required update to the Sunderland's town master plan. It's been reviewed by the Planning Commission. A motion was unanimously passed to forward the application to the Select Board with the Planning Commission's board's recommendations to go this route to apply for that grant. So BCRC is going to help execute these things, and but it's up to the Select Board whether we apply for this or not. The Planning Commission unanimously passed it and said that we should go forward, but it's up to us. Yes?
Back when we were deciding on the village center, we were up on Route 7 by the Basketville and all that, and that was kind of the retail area.
Yes?
And all of a sudden, the village center ended up having two inns and the Bat and Kill and the church. And because it wasn't too big of an area, so why wasn't the up into the retail area where it would have helped more people is my question. And I guess I'm questioning what their plan is in the future for the town plan.
Yeah, I think that's something the town can, or the Planning Commission can work on, but maybe we need another visit from BCRC to go over what that final plan is, because you're saying that they didn't go up far enough to
No, there was gonna be up by
7A?
Applejack and
Yeah.
down through all the retail area to help businesses and look where it's at.
Yeah, that was supposed to be the original,
Plan.
the original, property line, well, grant line for the, and then I think the state or the BCRC, somebody came down and said, no, we have to drop it back down, make it further south. But we also had the opportunity to amend it, in the future. I don't know how far the future was, but the decision was not the planning board's decision to leave that property out. It was a decision that was made for the planning board.
Yeah, the state did come and reduce that size, you're right. And-
Yeah, it was 2 buildings and a church when there's quite a few buildings up on the
Yeah.
retail area, so I was just kind of,
Well, that
But-
retail area was in the original proposal.
yeah, it was.
It was, and then whatever the powers that be reduced, pushed that line further south for some reason.
I'm pretty curious to who that was.
It was the state, I know, someone from the state, but it wasn't BCRC and it wasn't our planning commission.
No,
It
it was,
was
Well,
someone
it's about
from,
the town plan, not the village center.
Yeah, but it's all part of that.
Well, it fits into it, but I suppose I could discuss.
yeah, but as I understand it, what we're approving is the permission to apply for the grant. It has nothing to do with the plan itself. It's just
Right.
applying for the grant to provide assistance in writing the plan,
Yeah.
as opposed to what's going to be in the plan.
I just want to know what I'm approving of, because I approved of something that didn't happen the last time.
Yep.
So,
And that was my question, is if we're just approving the application or if I'm approving them moving forward with the visioning of what they've laid out in the plan.
this is a grant for the funding of improving the town plan. This doesn't,
Yeah, that's.
it's not approving any
Okay.
portion of the plan,
Okay.
which we will have to do eventually.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was just the clarification I was looking for. Thank you.
All right, so we have a motion to approve this application for a grant for upgrading our town plan. Any other discussion? All in favor of applying for this grant, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, great. And we will need to all sign this. We'll fill this all in and sign this grant application.
Do you want to sign it first and we'll fill it in later?
Pardon me?
You want to sign it now, we can fill it
Yes.
in later?
Yeah, that'll be good.
Because otherwise we have to wait for another meeting.
Yep. Right up there, please. And, let's see, we have, also, at our next, prior to our next meeting at 7 PM, instead of starting our regular select board meeting on February 24th, there's going to be a public information hearing starting at 7 right here. And it's a notice to, it's an informational meeting, so anybody from the town that's interested in discussing, there's a few articles, let's see, $21,000 plus for the cemetery maintenance budget. There's discussing the general budget, which is general fund, which is $403,000. Anybody with any questions on those can come, and also the highway fund budget, which is $556,000. Anybody that's interested in commenting on that could come or ask questions, and that meeting, as I said, will be held at 7 PM on February 24th. and we are happy to answer any questions on those budgets. And following that, we will adjourn that meeting and immediately begin our regular select board meeting after we've adjourned this informational hearing. So that's, again, February 24th, 7 PM, right here.
Is the line item budget that breaks down the 403,000 to 556,000, is that available to the public now, or is it going to be available prior to the 24th
Is
in the
that,
booklet?
I think the books are out.
yeah, the books are out,
now?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
So-
in the books.
Yeah, so if anybody has a question on any items, they can look in the book for this next town meeting, and,
Books are here and,
right, I don't know, they weren't mailed out, right?
No.
But they're here available for anybody that's interested, so. All right, we got this signed. Okay, let's see, we have anything else under new business? There's no need for an executive session, right? Anybody have anything for executive session? So, as I said, our next meeting will be following that informational hearing on February 24th. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.